you want to know my opinion on what I think, just keep on watching. Hey guys, what's good? It's your girl Nisi here and I'm back with another video. Hope you were all doing well. And in today's video, a big trigger warning. I'm going to be speaking on the Karmelo Anthony case. So if you don't know, listen, the TikTok streets are divided. I feel like a big race war is brewing. So I'm coming with some news from America, Texas to be exact. So basically, there's this community track race place where people who are competing and training in different sports. So there's these two brothers who are twins. They're the Metcalfs versus Karmelo Anthony. So sadly, Karmelo Anthony ended up killing one of the twins. His name was Austin Metcalf. Listen, we still don't know the full story, so I'm gonna roll the news clip and I will be back with my commentary.
New details about the killing of Austin Metcalf, the student stabbed at a high school track meet near Dallas. According to the arrest affidavit, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has confessed to the killing, saying he was trying to protect himself.
He knew how much I loved him, how much I do for him, I do anything for him.
Hunter Metcalf says he held his twin brother Austin as he was dying.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
It happened at the district championship meet in Frisco. Hunter says his brother had asked Karmelo to move his seat because he was sitting under the wrong tent. A witness says Karmelo replied, "Touch me and see what happens." And when Austin grabbed him, Karmelo allegedly pulled a knife.
Yeah, guys, so you just seen that news clip. And, you know, when I first heard this story, I think it's quite weird, basically, because Americans, you are known for your GUNs. And when it comes to like knives and stuff, that's more of a British thing. So to hear that he had a knife in his bag, I was like, that's quite, you know what I mean, quite strange. But yeah, I think there's definitely more to the story because again, who just walks around with knives in their bags? Like, no offense, in the UK, it's kind of like the norm for like teenagers. But in America, like, who's just walking around? So I think prior to this, he's like something must have happened. I'm not saying with the Metcalf brothers, but something must have happened. Maybe he got jumped by someone prior. Because for him to just walk around with a knife, you know, it's like when the police or people interview people that carry knives in London. They're like, "Oh, why do you carry it? To protect myself." You know what I mean? They're all balaclavaed up, the hood's on, you know, you name it, or people in gangs, and you ask, "Why do you do this?" And they're like, "It's for protection." So for him to carry a knife in his bag, it's given that he needed to protect himself. But I definitely think there's more to the story. Everything, you name it, everything's been weird with this case. So obviously, when he first got arrested, you know the usual, they tried to do a GoFundMe because his bond was so high. So his bond was set at $1 million, which is crazy. It's like you might as well not set a bond. Like, who's gonna pay $1 million to get it? You know what I mean? To get him out. Then they got it reduced because, you know, the judge on his case looked at everything and she got it reduced. So then his family are well off, like they do well, you know what I mean? He lives in the suburbs, so it's not the typical story, you know, a young black boy from the ghettos and he only, you know, single parent, da 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 da. Now they did try and spin that narrative, but then his parents come out like, no, he's come from a two-parent household, he's well educated, he goes to the best of the best of the best. So even though the bond was so high, I'm not saying his parents couldn't afford it, but they needed help. But his parents and family have been getting harassed, so they've had to move and relocate. Again, it's given a big race war that's brewing up. But yeah, let's get into some people's reaction and I will be back with my commentary.
The thing is, we all know that there's more to the story about the incident with Karmelo Anthony than what they're sharing with us. But even if there were not, it's still self-defense. Even if everything we knew was the only thing that was true, it's still self-defense. It's so interesting to me how everyone can understand the stand your ground law when it came to George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, which, by the way, wasn't even a valid excuse in that case. But in this instance, where someone walked up to that young man, threatened him, he gave him a warning, and then he responded after he was touched, now all of a sudden nobody gets it. And everybody keeps asking, why did he have a weapon? But I feel like we're skipping a few scenes of the movie, because the beginning and the starting question is, why did that young man walk up to him, tell him to get out of his seat, and then threaten him and put his hands on him? It's also so obvious that there's so much more to the story, and that was made extremely obvious when they only released a statement from the boy's twin brother. And they said that there were a bunch of other kids sitting around. Why are we only hearing from the twin brother? And if it was in fact true that they had no idea who Karmelo Anthony was before that moment, then again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Listen, shout out to that young man. I do use a lot of his clips in my videos, and I agree with him. Like, first of all, there's definitely more to the story, but even if we never hear it, or even if there wasn't, it's given self-defense. Listen, everything's alleged. I wasn't there. But when you hear like stories from people that were there, because the next clip I'm gonna play from a witness that was there, he defended himself. Now, do I think that's right that he should have went into his bag and got a weapon? No, like maybe he should have used his hands. But at the same time, it was 2-on-1, and just that alone, that's not fair. Like, why couldn't one twin fight him? Like, why are both brothers jumping this guy? You know what I mean? The weather was bad, so the people that were witnessing, like they were looking, but no one was breaking it up or trying to help. And he warned them, like when they were, first approaching him, acting all bad in his face. He's like, "Leave me alone." I'm gonna roll the witness clip, and I will be back so you get where I'm coming from.
Finally, y'all, a witness came out and made a statement in the Karmelo Anthony case, and I have to let y'all hear this because this is the piece I have been missing, that I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the witnesses, for the students around the situation to see what happened, and this is what he had to say.
Trying to get back to their cars, or
this is the witness.
Get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra with it. Dude was sitting up on the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah.
He's talking about Karmelo.
I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity, so I'm watching everything going on around it, because I'm there for my children. So, dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent.
He's talking about the twins.
Over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone, just trying to get dry.
Karmelo was on his phone.
They went from another. They grabbed this man.
Grabbed him.
And they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in
yep.
his bag, and whatever, they went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened.
Mind you, this man does not know Karmelo.
Just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, that dude that's got unalive, and his brother, basically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is
wasn't on school property.
Miles away. It was community track meet, bruh. It wasn't a school track meet.
Thank you.
Y'all heard that, right? I know she kept interrupting and saying, this was Karmelo, this was Austin, you know what I mean? But basically, he was up under this tent. He was minding his business on his phone. I don't know if he was having a break from track racing or whatever he was doing. But the fact that this man was there for his daughters, which is quite scary that this all went down in front of people. So again, it didn't happen at a school. It was a community racing track, like a community sports center. Like he said, he was just on his phone, minding his business, and just out of nowhere, these two guys approached him and was like, "Get up, da 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 da." You know what I mean? He warned them. So not this witness like trying to do sports with his daughters while he's looking like, when you can hear someone arguing, you end up just giving it a casual look and seeing what's going on, what's really good. And then out of nowhere, obviously, my man got stabbed, which we didn't expect that would happen. This is really scary because even myself, I want to get my daughter into gymnastics. So it's making me think like, imagine me taking her to a gym lesson and then just out of nowhere, someone at that gym gets stabbed. Like, this is crazy. It's like, whoa. But shout out to that man. He might have to obviously give evidence at the trial, but again, it's given self-defense. I'm sorry. Again, I wasn't there, and I hope the police and people who are investigating this case do it justice and get, you know what I mean? If he's guilty, then he needs to do time. If he's innocent, then you need to let him off because there must be cameras. And again, let's just say they've approached him before because I feel like this wasn't the first time. And even if it wasn't the Metcalf brothers, I feel like he's been troubled before. Because again, who just walks around with a knife in the bag? Like, what for? Especially when he's not from the hood. Like, obviously, if he was from the hood, you could understand because you're always like your head's always on a swivel. But considering he's grown up, two-parent household in the suburbs, education, like everything's good in his life. So I feel like something's happened before, and he's like, well, this will never happen again. You know what I mean? If you've been jumped before, you're gonna start walking around and protecting yourself. You're not gonna get jumped again. You know what I mean? It's like when people that get bullied, when they finally lash out and break out, then you're the bad guy. But when I was getting bullied, where were you? Where were the teachers? Where were the, you know what I mean? And even at this place, wherever the coaches, like, I need more. Like, where is everybody? Like, this is crazy.
A lot of people are confused why the black community is supporting Karmelo Anthony. Well, let me show y'all this clip from Malcolm X.
Carmelo.
We don't teach you to turn the other cheek. We don't teach you to turn the other cheek in the South, and we don't teach you to turn the other cheek in the North. We teach you to obey the law. We teach you to carry yourselves in a respectable way. But at the same time, we teach you that anyone who puts his hand on you, do your best to see that he doesn't put it on anybody else.
Ooh, guys, did you see that? Not giving us the Malcolm X. Listen, guys, if you know anything about me, I'm a big Malcolm X fan. You know, even in the black community, obviously it was Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X. Some were more on the peace and, you know, I have a dream. While some were like, you ain't gonna slap me and think I ain't gonna slap you back. You know what I mean? But yeah, like Malcolm been telling us from way back, like, yo, if it's smoke that they want, then let's have it out, but just let us know what time it is. So it's mad for him to bring up that, but that's what it's given. Again, they tried him. He said, leave me alone. Allegedly, I wasn't there, but allegedly, this is what he said. And they kept poking him, antagonizing him. Like he said, leave me alone. And then they tried to jump him, and just out of nowhere, that happened. You know what I mean? It's sad. It's sad on both sides. Like it almost happened so quick. Like just them jumping him and then him running to his bag and then just getting it out and then just the blood and just yeah, it's just too much. Overall, it's sad. It's a very sad case. And can you imagine this could have just been a normal Saturday, just like a community sports center track race, and it had to end deadly. Like,
you want to know why it's free Karmelo? George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin in 2012. Zimmerman claimed self-defense. He was not initially arrested and was later acquitted of all charges. Many in the public and media defended Zimmerman without questions, portraying Trayvon as a threat based on racial stereotypes. Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean in 2018. Geiger, a white off-duty Dallas police officer, entered Jean's apartment and shot him as he was eating ice cream. There was immediate public support for her from some groups, despite her entering the wrong apartment and killing an innocent man. Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 men and injured another during BLM protests in 2020. Although the people he shot were white, his presence at a protest for Black lives, armed and underage, was defended by many conservatives as heroic. He became a symbol of self-defense and was widely celebrated in right-wing media, raising millions in legal defense funds. Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd in 2020. The video of Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes sparked worldwide protests. Despite clear video evidence, many publicly defended Chauvin initially and criticized Floyd's past to justify the killing. Gregory and Travis McMichael plus William Roddy Bryan killed Ahmaud Arbery in 2020. Arbery was jogging when three men chased and killed him. They weren't arrested for over 2 months, and local authorities initially took their story at face value until video footage sparked outrage. Daniel Pantaleo killed Eric Garner in 2014. Garner was selling loose cigarettes in Staten Island when Pantaleo put him in a bandaged chokehold. Garner repeatedly said, "I can't breathe," before dying. Pantaleo was not indicted and kept his job for years. Many defended the police and blamed Garner's health and alleged actions. Timothy Loman killed Tamir Rice in 2014. Tamir Rice was a 12-year-old playing with a toy gun in a park. Within seconds of arriving, Loman shot and killed him. No charges were filed. The narrative quickly shifted to blaming Tamir's parents and justifying Loman's fear. Roy Oliver killed Jordan Edwards in 2017. Jordan, a 15-year-old honor student, was leaving a party when he was shot in the head by Officer Roy Oliver. Oliver initially claimed the car was moving towards him. Body cam showed otherwise. While he was eventually convicted, the initial response was to discredit the teens involved. Betty Shelby killed Terrence Crutcher in 2016. Crutcher's car broke down. Shelby, a Tulsa officer, shot him with his hands up. She claimed he was reaching into the car. He wasn't. She was acquitted. Many media outlets and police groups defended her almost instantly. Michael Slager killed Walter Scott in 2015. Scott was pulled over for a broken brake light and ran. Slager shot him in the back multiple times and initially lied, saying Scott tried to grab his taser. He wasn't arrested until a bystander video emerged. Public and police support leaned in his favor until the footage forced accountability. Jason Van Dyke killed Laquan McDonald in 2014. McDonald, 17, was walking away with a knife when Van Dyke shot him 16 times. The police report contradicted the video, which was suppressed for over a year. Van Dyke was eventually convicted, but the city and department covered up the murder, and many defended him until undeniable evidence came out. Mark Wilson killed a 19-year-old black teen in Florida in 2020. Wilson claimed self-defense after shooting the teen in a road rage incident. Despite the victim being unarmed, many online and local voices supported Wilson's version of events from the start. James Filch Jr. drove into BLM counter-protesters in Charlottesville in 2017. A white supremacist who killed Heather Heyer and injured dozens more, many of whom were black. Though ultimately convicted, he was initially protected by groups who claimed he was defending himself. Robert Bates killed Eric Harris in 2015. A 73-year-old volunteer reserve deputy in Tulsa, Bates accidentally shot Harris with his gun instead of his taser. Harris was unarmed and running away. Bates was a wealthy donor and friend of the sheriff. He was initially defended and received just 4 years in prison. Dylan Roof, Charleston Church Massacre, 2015. Roof murdered 9 black churchgoers during Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church. After his arrest, police took him to Burger King. Some far-right groups tried to justify the attack as part of a race war. The Confederate flag and white supremacist manifestos were part of his motive. Ethan Couch killed 4 in DUI crash, 2013. Though his victims weren't all black, the relevance here is his treatment. Couch killed 4 people and seriously injured 2. One victim, Sergio Molina, was left paralyzed. He avoided prison due to affluenza, a made-up condition describing how his wealth made him unable to understand consequences. It reflected the racial and class-based double standard in sentencing. A black teen in the same situation would almost certainly have been imprisoned. Darren Wilson killed Michael Brown in 2014. Wilson shot and killed Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Brown was unarmed. Initial reports paint Brown as aggressive or a thug. Eyewitnesses said he had his hands up. Hands up, don't shoot. A grand jury chose not to indict Wilson. He resigned but faced no charges. Ted Wafer killed Renisha McBride in 2013. McBride, a 19-year-old black woman, had crashed her car and knocked on Wafer's door for help. He shot her through the screen door with a shotgun. Wafer was convicted, but the initial public reaction focused heavily on her toxicology report rather than Wafer's decision to shoot an unarmed teen. Andrew Lester killed Ralph Yarl. Ralph, a 16-year-old black honor student, accidentally rang the wrong doorbell while picking up his siblings. The homeowner, Andrew Lester, shot Ralph through a glass door. Many immediately speculated Ralph was threatening, even though he was unarmed and never entered the home. George Tiller, attempted murder of Amantic E.J. Bradford Jr. in 2018. Tiller was a police officer who shot E.J. Bradford, a 21-year-old Army veteran, in a mall shooting incident. Bradford had a legal concealed weapon and was trying to help stop a shooter. Police initially claimed he was the shooter, then retracted the statement. The officer was cleared despite video evidence contradicting parts of his story. Claudia Cottrell's attackers, Howard Beach, 1986. A black man named Michael Griffith was killed after being chased by a group of white teens in a racist attack in Howard Beach, Queens. He was hit by a car while fleeing. The case exposed deep racial tension. Some locals defended the attackers as just trying to protect the neighborhood. Bernard Goetz shot 4 black teens in New York City subway in 1984. He claimed self-defense when he shot 4 teens, who survived, for allegedly trying to rob him. Public opinion at the time largely supported him as a vigilante hero, even though his actions were extreme and racially motivated. He was acquitted of attempted murder and served only 8 months for illegal gun possession.
Wow. Can we just let her clip sink in? And you know why? It's more affected that she was a white woman speaking on it. Because, black people, we speak on all the people that have, been killed or unalived all the time. And it kind of just goes over people's heads. But the fact that she's a white girl and she's spitting so much fact and truth. I know that clip was a bit lengthy, but I had to put it in here because it just goes to show, you know what I mean? We've been patient. We've been minding our business. There's so many different cases that she mentioned then where the black person was literally doing nothing. and they ended up getting unalive, sadly. And the person only does either a couple of months in prison or they just walk off scot free. That church one with those people that were at Bible study always gets like, can you imagine being in the house of the Lord, praising, reading about the God, and you get unalive? Like that one gets me every time. And then obviously the Tamir Rice, he was only outside playing. Like, yo, America, I need my American subscribers in the comments today. Like, I've never been to your country. My sister, my mum has. I've got family over there, but I'm not gonna lie, I am scared. I'm literally terrified of your country because it's just the way you can unalive a black person and just walk off scot free. And I feel like with George Floyd, if that wasn't filmed, especially all the way from when he first like had him on the ground, if that wasn't 100% filmed till the very end, I feel like those feds would have got away with it. And it's only because it sparked so much outrage around the world, not just in America, that was worldwide. That's the reason why they got the sentencing they got. But what she just read then was it's too much. Like, that's crazy. But then when I tell people I'm scared of America, they think I'm crazy. I'm like, are you okay? I don't know. With me, I believe in pound of tongue, so I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna put it here. I just feel like if I go over there, something will happen to me. So I'm gonna keep my ass here in the UK and just travel to other countries. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in a car one night and then it gets stopped over by feds, and the next thing you know, like we ain't doing no Mississippi burning over here. Like, no, no, no. You know what I mean? And as much as, black people turn up out there and we have all these black celebrities and all the wealth and all that, Atlanta and all that, the race over there is still crazy. It's still at an all-time high. Like, you can just feel the race tension, you know what I mean? There's some stories that have gone viral recently and I wanted to do a video on it. It's like I can't because the race rage baiting is crazy. But yeah, again, she told no lies.
In what world was it okay for Jet Metcalf to show up to Carmelo Anthony family's press conference? Now, here's the second question. How did he know where it was? Somebody told him. Somebody told him. And that video that they got circulating of showing him, complying and walking out. But in the end, the police officers are shaking his hand. Did anybody else catch that? I'm just confused. Like, why would that be okay for you to show up to another family's press conference and them telling them how the husband can't even work no more because of all of the threats and they're scared for their lives, and you show up like you big and bad? Where is that okay? I'm so confused of the nonsense, the shenanigans that's going on right now to allow that man to come to that family's press conference. So y'all couldn't stop him before he made it actually through the door of this conference. Y'all let him walk all the way through, right? What type of security did they have there to protect them? Because this is crazy. And her husband's, Carmelo Anthony's mother, the husband wasn't even able to be there to be her support system because they're scared to leave their other families by themselves. This is ludicrous at this point in time. But I just want to know, did y'all see that? And tell me what y'all caught watching that video.
Shout out to that girl. She made some really good points, but that is so strange. Like, why would the father or Father Metcalf of the boys, why would he turn up at Carmelo's family's like press conference? That's very telling. And like she said, like there was no security, you know what I mean? There was no like, she wasn't with her husband at the time. Like he could have had a pow on him. Like, wow. If you've seen what's it called now, where Samuel Jackson, he had to go in the courthouse because the men, the racist white men, got away with raping his daughter. A Time to Kill. I'm gonna put the picture there. It's giving that like he could have turned up to their press conference and come with a So that's really, you know what I mean? But then the Metcalfs and his family allegedly are like, oh my gosh, like we're so scared. Da, 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 da. And it's just like you went to the alleged murder of your son, press like their family press conference. Like who does that? And if you're so scared, why would you go? You know what I mean? But a mad thing with this story as well. So again, I touched on it before that they tried to set up a GoFundMe for Carmelo, but now since I don't know when, because you know anything about me and this channel, I don't like GoFundMe's. Like I think they're just full of BS. But apparently now, anyone that's on trial, especially for like unaliving someone, you can't do a GoFundMe for them. But funny enough, with George Floyd, the main one that was on his neck, they did a GoFundMe for him and they actually raised a lot of money. So now that the tables are turned and it's a black person versus, unaliving a white person, it's funny that you can't do a GoFundMe. So they've done like a GoFundMe savings on a different website. Shout out to that website to help the family. I think they did use some of that money for the bond, but they used it to relocate because again they've been getting a lot of death threats, etc., etc. But yeah, we see you GoFundMe. I've never liked GoFundMe anyway. Like I don't rate it at all. But I just find it very funny when it was George Floyd killer, people raised money for him, but now that it's the other way around, we can't do that. And I've always said when it comes to GoFundMe, there needs to be a lot more rules and regulations into place because I just feel like people can just go on there. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been scammed and things like that, that people can just wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to put out this tragic story. Nothing's wrong with me, but I want people to donate. Now, the people that donate, they do need to take some accountability, but yeah, I just thought that was very interesting. God is good because the fact that his family is well off and his bond was set, like the set changed, like he was able to come out. But yeah, he's terrified. Like he might even have to go into witness protection because when I say the death threats are real, the death threats are real. And then again, we've got the Metcalf's dad allegedly turning up to the Carmelo family's press conference. Hmm.
The way that this story is unfolding really has me uneasy for the simple fact that I feel like there's some sort of concerted effort or even an agenda to create real racial tension. Right? That's just how I feel about it. I feel like this is basically the inciting of a race war because ain't no damn way. Now, for those y'all who didn't know, Karmelo over here, the suspect, has officially been released on bond for $25,000. The bond was originally set for $1 million. Then thanks to activist judge over here, it was decreased to $250,000, which you only have to pay 10%. So there goes your $25,000. And that basically means he gets to wait at home in the comfort and the luxuries of whatever his home life is like, as opposed to being locked up somewhere waiting on his trial. Now, do I think that this was a correct verdict? In my honest opinion, no, because he proved himself to be a threat, to be somebody who is dangerous. That was the nature of this crime. It's as simple as that. You know, oftentimes they won't let you out on bond if they think you're going to escape or be a hazard to somebody else. In this situation, he could be a hazard to somebody else. However, the worst part for me was the fact that this activist judge has now been placed on this case, right? And this is somebody who was quoted as saying things such as this.
Now when we can have, summer interns come up and they are every race, creed, color, gender, but they can see someone that looks like them on the bench. I think that is so beneficial because it's representation. And when they look at me, young kids, law students, whoever it is, I want them to say, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Now, most of the situations, that sort of message would not matter. However, in the context of this case right here, that shows us everything we need to know about the sort of trial we're about to see in front of us. Folks, there is already a bias built into this thing. And I am deeply afraid that this is going to end up in the way that I'm already projecting out. I really hope that there is just a jury of peers who are going to be honest and fair, as well as evidence presented, and that's it, right? More specifically, the evidence that will speak for itself. Because we already know that this judge is basically she's sold on what she believes in and who she stands with.
Yeah, I agree with him. It's given like a big race war is ready to happen. There's just been too much going on this year. Like, obviously, we had Trump and his ways, doing the whole segregation, taking away the DEIs, as a DUIs. Child, I did a video on it. Check it out. But yeah, I definitely agree. I know you've got this judge. Like, I get what he's saying, but I also get what the judge is saying. So now it depends on the people that they pick for the jury. But yeah, this is gonna be messy. I know once this goes to court and the whole back and forth, like this is gonna get very messy. Do I think he's gonna do time? Yes. I can't see him getting off at all. And it's funny enough because that video that I did of the white woman that unalived her husband or partner, boyfriend, her black boyfriend, well, it was after they came from the club. She said she was cleaning a gun and yeah, she ended up unaliving him. I'll put a picture there. I did a video on it. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if she got off scot-free. But it's funny when it's the other way around. Doesn't matter what you did, doesn't matter if it was self-defense, you always seem to go down. Now, a lot of people are saying that obviously because it's Texas, it's in the South, it's a stand your ground state. Again, it was self-defense, so they've got to keep that into account because with Trayvon Martin, that's how George Zimmerman got off because it was a stand your ground state. So we will see, but I do think this court case will get messy.
Lock up Anthony Carmelo. Don't free him. What are you guys talking about? Like, what's wrong with you? He committed a horrible crime. You get punished for that. It's that simple. Yeah, but rest in peace, Austin Metcalf, for real. Seemed like a solid dude. I don't understand why you guys are defending the dude who did that horrible thing to Austin only because he's black. That sounds racist to me. I think you guys are the racist ones. Everybody who's been commenting on my stuff and defending him, oh, free Austin, free Anthony, free Anthony. You guys are the racist ones, not me. You are. Plain and simple. And everybody knows it. So I'm going to chill on my commenting. I keep getting my comments removed by TikTok. So, yeah. Y'all are the racist ones. Have a good night.
All right, so when it comes down to this whole Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony situation, all right, I just want to say it's very unfortunate that Austin lost his life. Like, seriously, all right, it is terrible. My thing is, for anyone that jumped to the conclusion automatically that this is a closed and shut case and Austin was the victim and he was unalived and cold, whatever, you are an idiot, all right? You're not a smart person, okay? All right? You have the IQ of a rat. Because so far, from the interviews from Hunter and his mother, from the arrest report, yeah, it doesn't seem like Austin was in the right. On top of that, Austin provoked Karmelo, all right? We need to understand this, okay? And if you read the penal codes for self-defense in Texas, read this entire thing, then go read the arrest report, then go watch the interviews, and tell me Karmelo does not have a case for self-defense based on what we have so far. So I'm not saying that they can't find information that could make Karmelo look terrible, right? And make what he did not seem reasonable or justified. I'm just saying, wait, okay? And, have some critical thinking skills, all right, about the situation. Watch lawyers, all right, on YouTube, or call a lawyer, all right, and ask them what they think about the situation, all right, so you can get a fair, open-minded perspective about this entire thing. So, with all that being said, okay, stop painting the image that Karmelo was a thug, and
try to have an open mind that he might actually have a case for self-defense, and that these two guys are the ones that started the whole entire thing. I think I'm done. For now.
White people, I'm sorry to say, this is y'all fault that this whole Karmelo Anthony incident even happened in the first place. First of all, y'all need to give Karmelo Anthony an apology. Anybody that feel like he was wrong, y'all need to give that young man an apology, because all he was doing was defending himself, and now he had to go through the trauma of taking somebody's life to defend himself. Now he got to deal with all this backlash that he doesn't even deserve. Now, first of all, I know it's really hard to grasp this, right? But all black men, we don't all wear bonnets. We don't all wear dresses. We don't all wear purses. We don't all wear mercy. We don't all sell out our people just so we can make quick money. We're not all feminine. All black men are not docile, passive, that y'all like to put in the media and pacify these black men by giving them money in exchange for their masculinity. All black men are not willing to sell out their masculinity in order to get bread, in order to push agendas. All black men are not like that, okay? Y'all been teaching your young Euro children that y'all can just basically walk up to black people, and Euros can do whatever they want to black people without there being any consequence. And I'm pretty sure these children thought in their mind, well, we're bigger, we're white, we can do whatever we want to him, and there's not going to be consequences. And look what happened in the process. This young man had to lose his life and be made an example out of in order to put your ego in check. That's basically what happened. These young men had huge egos, they were known bullies, and they went up and tried to bully the wrong black child because they probably assumed that just because they had the upper hand, they were able to just treat and talk to this young black man like anything, and look what happened. So really, this is y'all fault. You know what happened here? Arrogance. Arrogance is what made this happen. Arrogance is why that young man lost his life. Karmelo Anthony, he was simply protecting himself. As simple as that.
Listen, he kind of went off, but at the same time, he was spitting facts, about men being masculine, like he was just spitting some truth. Like, yo, there's some real hard, masculine, old school men out there. And again, Carmelo did say, yo, leave me alone, especially when you've been warned. And if you go, again, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If someone's warned you and you go in there, the rest is history. Like, good luck, because you're gonna need it. You know what I mean? He went in, he said, yo, there are some men out there, especially black men, you do not play with them. Not every person has to be tatted up, be a gangbanger. Like, some are quite, like, when they say it's always the quiet ones you need to watch out for, that's what it's giving. Carmelo was just under the tent on his phone, minding his business. He probably was on TikTok, just scrolling away, just trying to have a good old funky time. And these two have just approached him like on some, the saying, don't start none, won't be none. But yeah, I agree with a lot of stuff he said in his clip.
Why are y'all so upset about that young, upstanding citizen that got that thug off the streets for life? Is it because he's black? Is it the color of his skin? Is that it? Since when is self-defense wrong? Since when is standing your ground wrong? With the way white people have been acting in this country recently, I'd be walking around with a knife too. That's just me though. I'm just glad we got one less thug on the streets.
Guys, how could in the last clip the guy said we're not out here wearing bonnets and skirts and dresses, and then the next clip the guy's got a bonnet on? First of all, what color was he? Because he was giving kind of Asian slash Mexican, but he's probably like black somewhere. Like, that's what I can't take with America. It's too mixed. Like, but again, he told no lies. Like, he's so funny. But I'm glad Carmelo got that thug off the streets. Now, when you think of a thug, you definitely think it's a person of color, darker skinned, if not black, Latino, like brown, like the defo not white. But he was like, I'm so glad Carmelo got that thug off the street. Like, guys, it was the bonnet for me, the bonnet and the beard. Like, I wasn't ready. Like, but yeah, that's his opinion. Again, you're only a thug, you know what I mean? Even when the white and they do terrorist acts, you're not a terrorist. He was just a mad white man and just took lives of, you know what I mean? Or he's just a serial killer. But if he was Asian or black, oh yeah, he's a, you know what I mean? He's a terrorist straight up. You know what I mean? The biggest hate white group in America, the stuff that they've done to people of color, it's terrorist acts, but they never class it as terrorist. But if you blow up a building, then yeah, you're straight up a terrorist. Only if you're like brown and darker. You know what I mean? But in that clip, he told no lies. Like, if he really did what Carmelo is saying, he was a thug. Like, you can't just go around picking on people and trying to tell people what to do and when to move. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Especially when it's a community sports center. Like, it's not like it's private or, you know what I mean? And even if it was private, who are you to tell me to get up and move? Like, did you give birth to me? Like, hello? Again, don't start with people if you don't want that smoke. That's why I keep to myself. I'm in my own world. So if anyone wants to bother me, then let's have it. You know what I mean? Just let me know what time it is. Like, people, just please leave people alone and stop bugging people, especially when they warn you. If they've warned you, all right, allow it. You know what I mean? Leave it.
Justice for Austin Metcalf. He was killed at school at a track meet, stabbed right in the heart by a cold-blooded killer. He should be spending the rest of his life in prison where he belongs. He brought a knife to school. It doesn't matter if it's Texas. It's not self-defense. Just like you don't bring a gun to school, you don't bring a knife to school. That's murder. And I hope the guy who killed Austin Metcalf's family cries for the rest of their life when the dude's sitting behind bars. I'm going to be baking a cake being all happy when he's behind bars. Rest in peace, Austin Metcalf. Rest in peace.
Well, we all know what side he's on. He said it, you know what I mean? He made me laugh and he's like, I can't wait to make a cake and be happy when you go to prison. And it's just like, all right, chill out. Like, you know when someone's doing a bit too much. Again, I'm unbiased on this channel. I'm gonna show perspective on both sides. Again, it's divided. I've seen some black people sticking up for the Metcalf brothers. Sorry. But yeah, that's his opinion and that's how he feels. I have no dog in this fight. Everything's alleged. I wasn't there. But again, if it was self-defense, like if Carmelo's telling the truth, then it's sad, but it had to go down that way. You know what I mean? I wish he didn't have to drag out a knife and he just fought his way. But again, it was 2-on-1. And I've seen fights like that, and it's just not fit. Like, that's not a fight. You basically jumped that person. I hate when people jump people and they're like, oh, it was a one-on-one fight on I won fair and square, and it's like, no, you didn't. There should be no weapons. You know the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, things need to be equal, you know what I mean? So again, if he warned them and they both jumped him, what happened happened, innit? Okay, guys, so that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Carmelo is innocent, or do you think like he should be thrown under the jail? Doesn't matter what your opinion is. Rest in peace to him, because yeah, no one, you know what I mean. No one's life should be getting taken away, no matter what the situation. But then again, if it was self-defense and he was like punching him, like, then it is what it is. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. Stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.